So you're seeing on screen, we have Naween Fernando and Moses Peter will be playing shortly. Sometimes when we weren't sure in the first move or two who was who, I used the color of their shirts and such to identify them, but both of them are wearing a lime green sort of shirt, and they both have darker skin, so it won't be so easy to tell, except their watches are slightly different, so I might have to focus on the bling to figure out who they are until all the labels are up. So these two have played head-to-head exactly once, and Naween Fernando came out victorious in their only meeting beforehand. Naween's shaking the bag up. Both of the gentlemen shake hands, and now it'll be Moses Peter who is drawing. Peter Armstrong also points out that they have different beverages, coffee versus water. Yes, that is a good way to differentiate them as well. So it is the African champion going first. He's got G plus PLN on his rack. Yeah, Peter, outside in the little area where people kibitz about their games between rounds, there is a hot water receptacle, and there is also the ability to get coffee, so it could be either drink. So Jeet goes down over Jeep. On the other side of town, we have a fair number of vowels. There's adieu and EY on Naween's rack to start the game.
Oh, the game has started.
It has indeed.
I'm
Welcome
so sorry.
back, Jason Katz-Brown.
Oh my gosh.
So Jeed was played by Moses Peter, and he kept PLN left over.
Is this round 15?
I believe so. Yeah, 16, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Round 16. It's Naween Fernando. Jeed was played keeping PLN.
Why didn't he play Jeep?
I was wondering the same thing.
Oh.
I kept track. That's okay.
I think we're good. Thank you.
And then DIEU was kept while he played YAE in response on the top. So now back on to Moses Peter's rack.
Oh, pin table was blocked.
Yeah.
Or is it pin table?
Probably pin table. That's my guess. Rebecca Slivka actually pointed that out in the chat.
Oh, nice. Oh, I guess yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it is pin tables. What do you think pintable would be? The ability to drink a large beer?
It could be like ovenable, like the ability to fit inside of a pint.
That's true.
Or tubbable, right?
I think so. Moses Peter must be aware of the little inside joke that some of the North American team knows, which is Bant. We'll have to tell Evans Clinchy.
I don't know this joke.
Bant was played. It's a story involving Hood River, I believe, a previous iteration of that tournament, or it's either that or it involves Benji and Schoenberg. But I don't have the full details, but I know that they randomly will comment Bant or scream Bant at each other. Actually, Jennifer, if you're in the chat, perhaps you remember, because I know that you are in on the Bant joke as well.
I'm wondering, this is a pretty good play. Pant is also appealing.
Oh, Randy's watching. It was the Nashville tournament. That's what it was. Okay. I thought it might have been Hood River. My mistake. Oh, was that the Total Eclipse of the Stars tournament? Yes, for the eclipse. So Naween plays Jehu, keeping DEII.
It's a good play.
I can't remember the definition, but I actually know where it comes from as far as the reference goes.
I know what it means, but I wasn't going to ask you where it comes from.
I can tell you that, but tell me the definition
Isn't
first.
it like
actually.
a bad driver?
I think it's a crazy driver, to be more specific.
Okay.
And actually, part of that story is Jehu was a general. This comes from the Bible. And he was actually involved in the, I'll be polite and say, the execution of Jezebel, who was one of the villainesses of the Old Testament.
Oh.
And he was a driver of one of the chariots in the army that was involved in eventually removing her from office by means of murder.
Oh. Huh. Why'd that end up as a modern English word?
I don't know, but that is exactly where it comes from.
Wow, no place for a bingo.
Growing up in a conservative Christian home is helpful sometimes. You can actually get references to some of the things that show up on Scrabble boards. So Moses has peeling on his rack, and then over on Naween's side there is iodizer.
And I guess, ooh, an iodizer might fit, but it seems like it's likely to be blocked because most of Moses Peters' nice plays
Like
overlap
peg
there.
and pen.
Yeah.
Actually, I was going to ask this question, Kumar. Thanks for answering. Their last meeting was at Causeway in 2010. Because I was thinking, where would the two of them have met? I figured it would be at a tournament, maybe in Malaysia or at the King's Cup or something, and that is the definitive answer, a previous iteration of this tournament.
That's what Michael Tang does. He brings the world together.
He brings the world together, because Australia and Nigeria don't face off super often besides the World Championship, so...
Mm-hmm. Peg is best by a mile in the sim.
So Peter asks if Peg would block iodizer.
Yeah.
And it does seem to have done the trick there.
It's crazy that his highest scoring play can go from 80 to
10.
10. Would you fish here?
I'd have a hard time not fishing.
Yeah, totally. The other plays all suck.
Because, like, it's not so much that I enjoy fishing. I try not to most of the time now.
Yeah.
But in this situation, there really is nothing gained by not fishing. So,
Yeah.
with all the limited options, I don't like playing IO on top of the B and Bant. I feel like that gives way too many options back.
Yeah.
But then IO to the left of PE gives options down when you hook OP.
Yeah, it's perfect.
So-
Sets up your D.
I think
Sets up a lot of other things
I
too.
am slightly more partial to IO in that position at D8.
Yeah.
There's lots of opportunities for my opposition to respond back to it, but I think longer term that serves me a little bit better. So,
Yeah.
although
it's
interestingly,
good. Well done by Naween.
exchanging just I is right up there, about 1% below playing IO.
Yeah, I think the sim's not helpful there though, because it's assuming you can only play a bingo if your opponent gives you something, a useful spot for it, and they won't be getting a useful spot for it after you exchange one.
I think I'm still partial to IO like that, yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
So Moses Peter has played a liner, keeping an A.
That might be a little sloppy.
wonder if he's a believer in turnover, if that inspired his decision making at all.
Yeah. Just looking at the Quackle suggestions, I really like AAL, making AI and Lope, because it makes it quite hard to play a bingo, because it's hard. If you have it, I mean, it's a little bit restrictive if your word has to end in a letter that hooks onto an A.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, Aditya, we are agreeing with you. A liner, I don't think I would have played that either.
Yeah, I'm not sure a straight fish would have been great, but like AAL is a nice in between of restricting his options a little bit and then leaving a good balance rack.
Aaron Bader asks if he has Pierids, and SAI is a word.
Yeah.
So yes, there is a spot.
Mm-hmm. And after AL, Pirates wouldn't fit.
It would still though, wouldn't it? Because you could play DA and then SAI.
Oh yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
Either way, he would be getting his bonus down this turn. Although possibly has missed it. He's got Spider lined up. Spider does score 54 points, so it's a nice overlap, playing to the left of Lope, hooking it with Slope, and then playing downward. He does score a lot. Of course, Pierids is the optimal play here. And he is opting for Spider. The tiles go down for the 54 points in that spot.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
And really quickly in response, Moses Peter plays Fang alongside Spider, and that'll score a decent amount for him. And it's a nice leave to boot.
Yeah.
And that is not so pretty. Although it is almost, is that an A or a V? It's a V, isn't it? Not quite Illuvia.
Wow, these players are matching. Oh, they're wearing the official tournament shirt, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. I was actually pointing out before you came in the room that with a similar colored shirt and similar skin tone, it wasn't necessarily easy to pick out who was who to start the match.
Yeah.
But then Peter Armstrong pointed out one has a water glass and one has a coffee and teacup. There's always a way to differentiate.
Mm. But their glasses are also not far off.
Mm-hmm. In the chat, they have mentioned a slope is a word, slope taking a front A hook.
Mm. I guess he's looking at Vili making Gov? That's interesting. High scoring plays Vol in the lower left, making Vera and Or, leaving IILU. Which is not the worst leave on this board. Like, you could still make plays from the G with IILU. The U hooks onto Bantu. Really? Oh man, he's gonna have Ledius now. Yeah, Villy seems like it doesn't. It gives up a lot of.
Ways to respond.
Yeah. That doesn't seem great.
Peter, I actually don't remember either. I remember Paul Villi, but Paul Vilio, I don't remember. Could well be, I don't remember. And Lediist, yeah, I think that's the play here. Rebecca Slivka confirms that Paul Vilio is good. Nice play.
His out broke.
Out broke. That is a nice pull out of the bag, and he's lining it up right away.
Wow.
The African champion is showing us part of why he won his title.
Well, this is Naween.
Oh, it's Naween side. I'm sorry. Well, yeah, that would be a great way for him to come back. But on Moses Peter's side, he's pulled a blank.
Ooh, this game is
almost caterwaul. Just needs a couple more letters.
This game is going places.
And yeah, Aaron, I think I'd have to agree. Naween is seems to be uncertain of outbroke.
All right, way to go.
Outbroke, good job.
That's 80 points. Putting him only down by 6.
Very nice.
Is there a bingo for Moses Peter?
I was trying to find water words or crew words or something like that. I'm still cycling through it in my head. Nothing immediately jumps out.
Oh, it's a good spot by the forum.
Watcher, yeah, that's a little bit more. I'm thinking of weird little compound words, and there's something nice Aaron Bader mentions is Watcher. That works just fine.
Yeah. Brilliant. It's the only bingo.
In fact, the only bingo. There you go.
Oh, he's holding.
So
he's challenging.
+5.
Wow, Naween must be panicked.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see you wrote it first, Aditya. Yes, good find. I said Aaron. That is my bad.
Missing periods, finding out broke. It's
pretty
makes
good.
up for it, almost.
So he's putting down Watcher fairly quickly. Well, that's an interesting tile placement technique you mentioned before. Putting down everything but the blank, designating it, and then putting it down. I haven't seen that way before. In my experience, there's two camps of people. There's the people who put down the play, then write down the blank, announce the score, and hit the clock. And then there are the psychos, the ones who designate the blank first and then put all their letters down.
Oh, that's awful.
But Moses Peter does not fall into either of those categories. He puts down everything but the blank, then designates it, then puts it down. That is a new one on me.
Wow, and Naween has a terrible rack, but a great place to play QIN.
Mm-hmm. Through the I in Villi that he played earlier.
Now I guess the question is whether to put the S on the end for 5 extra points and another chance at drawing a blank or a vowel. Seeing as how the S is not obviously very useful, you must find that appealing. Outbroken could also come into play.
Yeah, Aaron, the rack that's been typed out that's underneath Naween in the picture, it's actually off. The O that you see there is a Q. The shot of the board and the racks, it shows the Q on the left side of the rack. So it's D, G, M, N, Q, R, S. There are no vowels on his rack.
Yeah, the Quackle Sim likes playing QINS. Estimates about a 10% chance of pulling this game out. Nice, great play.
Getting some comments in the chat. Rashid Balagun says, good job to you and me. Keep it up. Thank you. We appreciate that. We have a Moses Peter fan in the chat who says, go Moses!
Go Moses indeed.
And then Matthew Tunnicliffe says he wonders if both players see a slope. It could be a huge endgame spot. Yeah, I'd have to agree. That could make a difference in a very tight endgame.
Yeah. Oh man, still can't draw a vowel. Can Naween? What's he lined up with that CDY?
He's got C blank DY. Or not blank, sorry, C space DY, I should say. So Curdy is what he's thinking through the UR.
Oh, right.
And yes, Aaron Bader has that in the chat as well.
Nice.
Mentioning Curdy.
What about Moses Peter? Is he looking at OX? Oof. Oh, whoa! Crackle points out that he could play OU somewhere for 20 points. Can anybody spot where you can drop OU for a lot of points?
It's actually, the last turn I was bemoaning the fact that there wasn't a U to go with that Q for Jukins. I assume you were talking about Juchins, or however you say it.
Yeah, Guchins.
Yeah.
Well, why is he playing Toia leaving UUX? What? What?
Matthew Tunnicliffe was suggesting playing Auta or Uta and a slope to set up the X. It's an interesting play. But yeah, Toya keeping UUX, that is a unusual choice. It is, wow, it is 11% or possibly 12% lower than his ideal play. And you know what's funny, Matthew, is it looks like Uta, your suggestion, is the highest simming choice on Quackle. Nice spot.
Yeah. It's winning by so much, they did, even with a human being a little smarter about blocking. It's probably still best. That's a really good play. Auto is really nice. And then Guchins is second. What a nice thing.
So Curdy goes down, as was spotted earlier.
Wow, Toya is bizarre. We could have played Crowdy. Do you think he missed Crowdy?
It's possible.
It's a little bit of a weird spelling of a weird word.
Rashid Balogun says, don't forget to say hello to Moses Peter, my former teammates, and my friend's son, Naween. I happened to meet and live with Naween's father before meeting Naween. That is a really cool trivia story. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that, Rashid.
That's awesome.
So Moses Peter put down Hawks originally underneath of the S and T in Lettiest and has picked it back up.
Seems like his, by far, his best option.
Instead, he's putting down something we have seen in Malaysia this week, a food word, kue, or kui.
Why?
Hasn't committed to that one either, is staring at it, considering it.
It's also quite a blunder to show the X if you're going to not play it.
He's picked that one back up as well. He's on his way to showing off his entire rack. He's done.
Okay, I think
that he's opted for Hawks.
Probably the right play there.
Today.
And Hawks is 46. That's appealing.
And it's funny, Naween does the exact same thing I would have done, which is reorient the O because it was upside down. I would have done the exact same thing.
Naween has a blank.
Yeah.
Do you think he can play a slope?
He would have a slope in Grandma.
Oh, he also has a bingo to the T that I did not know was a word.
And SWA grid with the wide eyes points out anagram is literally on Naween's rack. Aditya asks if arm gaunt is good.
It is.
It is. That's the one that Jason was saying he didn't know. Good spot.
Yeah, no idea.
Look at that. See, I can't teach you any more new words when you were saying teach me new words, but Quackle can.
No, Aditya can.
Yeah, Aditya. That's a great find.
There are 32 words that have MG in them. Oh, there's also arm guard, circumgyrate, film goer, what's Gamgee? Humgruffian. Griffin.
Hey, look, your rum gumption showed up again.
Whoa! 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 What a world we live in.
You have had rum gumption show up twice today.
Whoa. Oh, it's from Reamdongam.
Yes.
Rum gun scotch. Ram gun scotch. Slumgullion. Wow. What a list. Gamgee. Oh. Whoa! Is Gamgee a Malaysian thing? No, it's a surgical dressing consisting of a thickness of cotton wool between 2 layers of gauze. And I guess it doesn't take an S because it's always used as describing like a kind of
probably sort of
padding.
like Band-Aid doesn't take an S either for similar reasons.
No, it was something slightly different. There's like a category of words that are in colons as part of 2-word phrases.
Oh, so sort of like what's an example?
Isn't like gung ho one of them?
Yeah.
But there's more similar ones.
Well, like the Latin phrases, like it's not quid from quid pro quo because quid already works as a currency, but something that's similar to that where usually you have to have the 2 words together.
Oh no, he's played no bingos. He's played MASH.
Played MASH. Oh boy.
Oh boy. That might.
Well, it's the best of the non-bingos. It looks like.
Yeah. That's
Interestingly, it's trading places with Armgaunt as far as what Quackle likes, but Grandma is the clear front runner with the a slope hook.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Terry Kang Rao says that may be the first time in the history of Scrabble that someone has kept UU 2 turns in a row. Maybe at this level of Scrabble play. I suspect that some of the lower tables it's probably happened more often than we are privy to. But yeah, I would say at this level it's certainly highly unusual.
What did he keep when he played FEU? That happened so fast.
FEU?
Oh, there it is. FEU OURV.
And then Aditya points out that mridangam is an Indian percussion instrument. Yes. Peter Armstrong points out MASH if he didn't see the bingos, and yes, that's precisely what he played. So.
So there's 7 in the, wow, we're in another situation where there's 7 in the bag. He could play a bingo, or he could try to be more strategic. I think we're also in a similar, but the score's a little bit closer. Last time it was basically clearly losing to play the bingo. This time you might actually, the only bingo I think is through those Ys. They don't score very much. They score at like 63. That would put him up by 3. He would probably still lose. There's one huge Z spot, so it'd be great if we could show the unseen tiles, but unseen is a Z, a W, a V, an S, and then O's and I's, a U. Could we show the unseen tiles? Nice.
So as Aaron points out in the chat, Moses Peter has Zoe and Zaz to score a fair bit.
Mm-hmm.
Aditya is wondering out loud what several of us are wondering as well, if either of them have seen a slope. Well, I would say Naween probably has not. It's a question of whether
Yes.
Moses has.
And seeing as how Naween has the only A, sounds like
It won't be an issue.
won't be a thing. Sad. So it sounds like Naween has to play Grayling or whatever and then hope that he draws the Z. And since he's not going to draw the Z, he seems pretty dead if he plays his bingo now.
Aaron says that he thinks that Glint is going to be played to the T in Toya. That is what he has lined up, so.
That might... How I'm not sure how that would work either. But really, it's hard to imagine any way that he can win, given that Moses Peter has the Z.
So Glint is going to go down. SWA Grid Wide Eyes asks, any bingos apart from the ones in column 15?
There weren't on that rack. There was just like grayling, layering, relaying, rallying.
Yeah, just the ones through the Y, to answer your question, are the only ones that were there. Naween turning over his tiles, he's got Warm IN blank. Moses Peter playing Zoe. He's got a healthy lead at this point. And after Zoe, he even leaves 1 in the bag. Moses has one of those racks that goes with any vowel except a U as far as 8s that play. Actually, no, that's not even true. All the vowels. Any vowel he could play through to make an 8.
Naween seems dead.
Skewered.
Skewered. It was very slow skewering. He just made many small mistakes, and then it was just too many. Too many.
Yeah. Rebecca, there is precisely one tile in the bag. This would be a good time for Naween to remember that slope takes an A front hook.
It would, but
in that case, fishing off a W seems like an interesting possibility.
I guess.
I don't know, like what else are you going to do? Because you got to play in that spot.
Right, you could draw an O and play Tormina or Minorca. But he would still lose because he was down by 1,000,000.
Just so you're all aware, Jason's just looking at a part of the screen from further back in the Quackle match, so there aren't 29 unseen tiles in the bag. There's just the one.
Yeah, I was going back to look at Toya, because it's probably the most questionable of Moses Peter's plays. But it definitely worked out being able to play Hawks next turn, but that was after drawing that H and that O, which is a bit lucky.
So Naween has played off the W. And he has drawn the O. So yes, Tormina and a slope is now an option. And so is Mark. There's options on the top as well to the G and Glint. I think Marconi works as well, no?
Maybe, or Amarino.
Yeah. So there's options in both spots.
Marconi, what's Marconi?
The way I remember is Marconi was involved in this goes back to communications classes. I can't remember exactly what. Marconi signals, I believe. Can't remember what, but that's where I believe it comes from. In any case, there you go. Invented the radio. Thank you. Communications. I couldn't remember exactly what, but I knew it was essential to communication. Thank you, everybody.
Cool.
Y'all got my back.
Cool.
And yes, Jack Knapp, Tormina is valid, and that would be the outplay, hooking the A onto a slope.
Or Minorca.
Minorca works as well.
But neither's going to happen.
Yeah, it does not appear to be so.
Wow, that doesn't lose by very much, does it? He would
3
only
points.
lose by 3. Bummer.
Yeah, that is most unfortunate.
Just one challenge away.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to try it!
He
wow.
found it a little bit too late. He needed it earlier in the game, but nice find.
Oh, man. Wait, he can't challenge, can he?
He cannot challenge.
Whoa.
But the time is back on. Oh.
Oh!
This is interesting. Very interesting.
Whoa.
This is a fun little twist.
Don't challenge!
This is a fun little twist.
If you're going to challenge, at least recount. Like, what if he, for example, he forgot to add the 5 points from his challenge Radbroke, and then doesn't realize how close it is? And,
So this is a fun little twist with 5-point challenge for our North American audience that plays TWL. This is something that never happens in an endgame in TWL because it's a free challenge, basically. But here, it actually can cost the game. So if I know him well enough, based on what I've been told, he's probably going to recount the entire game.
yeah, I mean,
He has the time. So we might as well talk about random things, because this is going to take him a while.
What should we talk about?
Well, let's see. Any positions in this game that we can possibly review while we're waiting for the players?
Yeah, like, which one should we ask them about? Why Jeed instead of Jeep?
Yeah, that was interesting at the beginning.
Yeah, did he think of... Yeah, what, does he know the word pirates?
It's possible not, yeah. I mean, like, one of the things with the challenge here is we have to remember this is a team event. So when you think about it, the spread only matters as the second tiebreaker. If you're just trying to win, and the idea is to get wins for your team to get a point, then you should just accept the play, whether it's valid or not, and win by 3.
Yeah.
Because your spread really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I think if it were an individual event, then yeah, I would give it more consideration. But I think in this case, just take the win.
Yeah, he's probably making sure that it doesn't...
But
he
recounting,
has the
yeah, just
score.
in case he's made a mistake.
Yeah. I once lost a game because both me and my opponent forgot to add an entire one of my plays
Oh no!
to my score.
Wow,
Wow, indeed.
that is a twist and then some.
Yes.
Aditya is requesting we ask about the Toya move. Yeah, that's a
Toya,
good call.
yeah.
That was a rather unusual move.
Yeah, and also be curious to if he considered Grandma in a slope earlier. Because, yeah, that would have been way better than MASH.
Peter says the psychology of this position is interesting, though. It could lead to a challenge. I mean, that would be quite the twist for us, an interesting way to end this game. If you think your opponent is just trying to take advantage of spread, then you could challenge. You know, that's an interesting thought. Osun Mastermind 1 says Moses will not challenge.
Yeah, I agree.
I think the only way you can lose is to challenge. So.
Yeah, so don't challenge.
The only way I could see him challenging here is if he somehow recounts incorrectly and thinks that he's going to lose.
Oh, yeah, Didio, what you're describing is bad, but like I literally won the game, except I should have won the game, except like we literally signed a score sheet, a tally slip that had the wrong score completely. Like both of us just didn't add one of my scores. And then we both realized it when we got home after the tournament and put them in Quackle, and we both realized that I won the game. That was the first day of a nationals where I won all my other games.
Was that in New Orleans?
Phoenix, I think.
Oh, 2006.
Yeah.
That's where we played our first game.
Oh.
Way back in New Orleans,
Really?
2004. We were both very young then. None of the gray hair we have now. I was 18. Such a lifetime ago. 32 now.
What else should we talk about?
Moses is making sure there's no tiles in the bag as well.
Yeah.
That's good. I actually have lost a game once that way before, when both of us missed a tile in the bag, and I lost by 1. I should have won by a few points if my opponent had actually drawn the tile.
Oh, so that's another case where you just signed the wrong
Well,
score
we
tile.
signed the wrong score, but to us we had used all the tiles. There was a tile in the tile bag.
That's rough.
So Moses, this is actually a good clinic for people.
Yeah.
This is a case for...
He's putting on a clinic.
This is why you should have time left at the end of your game, because he's
Yeah.
recounting to make
Yeah.
sure there's no scoring errors.
Yeah.
He's getting the tracking all right.
Yeah.
He's checking scores and making sure there's no tiles in the bag. It's very thorough, and many ways in which you can lose a game, he's making sure that he won't.
Yeah.
And that is the mark of a champion. You know, we do have the African champion here who is in one, and he's showing us some of why. Very methodical in the way he's going over his endgame.
Yeah. Great point.
Sun Mastermind 1 says, even in Nigeria here we give winning priority first. Yeah, I believe it. Absolutely. Aditya asks, what's the next game up? Next game up will be...
Click the tab or this tab.
It'll be Ganesh. Ganesh Asurbatam and Jesse Day will be the next game up. Should be a very good match.
Mm.
Matthew Tunnicliffe says the phony outplay is more fun when the opponent has like 14 seconds left. That's exactly true, but in this case Moses has managed his time very well. So
Yeah.
Rashid, you say that is what we called LMP in Nigeria. Could you elaborate? What are those initials for? And Peter Armstrong says he blocked the Y just in time. And he's recounting Tormina. Looks like he is getting just at the end of his recounting here with about 4 minutes to spare. More than enough time to make an educated decision, which is going to be to let the play go.
Yeah.
Oh, no, never mind.
Excellent.
Slightly out of order in the way he's recounting, but hey, whatever works, as long as you get all the moves. Last minute premium, says Rashid. Ah, interesting.
But what does that mean? Please explain last minute premium. Also, please inform us of other great acronyms in wide usage in Nigeria Scrabble. Fun fact, the last tournament I played in was in Nigeria. I think I'll probably keep it that way, because that is a great tournament to end on. The Godzilla Octavia International Scrabble Classics.
Aaron says, what if he makes an error in his recount? Well, that's what I was saying, is the only way I could see him making the challenge is if he recounted incorrectly and thinks he's going to lose. That's literally the only way he would challenge in this case. Otherwise, there's no reason to challenge. So he's put the pen down, or he did. Osun Mastermind says that is rare, not for a player of his caliber. And indeed, he exposed his tiles and then pauses the clock, accepting the play if that is the right thing to do.
That was very professional.
Yeah, so that's a clinic right there.
Yeah.
We're seeing for things to do to make sure you don't lose in a strange fashion in the endgame. So, good show by the African champion.
Yeah, that was a well-deserved victory. Well done, African champion.
So a nice spot by Naween there at the end.
Yeah.
They're likely checking a slope right away. Matthew Tunnicliffe says the opponent would have to agree with that error. Yep.
Should we try to get the African champion into the room?
If you want,
I'm not
yeah,
sure how popular he is.
Welcome, friend. Please have a seat.
Hi, Tracy.
We tried to get Moses Peter, but he may come later.
All right, fair enough. So let's go through the game and have a little bit of a chat about it. First things first, one person asked in particular, they wanted to know just your thought process through Glint when you made that decision.
Well, I was hoping to pick up the Z for Zawaria.
Nice.
And a slope. So even if even if I don't bingo and pick up the Z, I think I've got the game. So.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
All right, no, that's definitely not something that crossed our minds. That's pretty solid logic, I would have to say. All right, what else can we look at that we were thinking about here?
The previous play.
Yeah, I mean, there's only 7 in the bag, so I can't bingo. I only go up like 14 points, and I've emptied the bag. Yeah.
Or when you had this rack, a GM and there's a 12 in the bag?
No, there's only 7.
Oh, for a Glint.
Oh, sorry, beg your pardon.
Yeah.
Sorry, no, well, I wanted to score 30 odd points. And just keep AG and R blank. I mean, I didn't even really.
Did you see the bingos?
I'm not sure. No, probably not.
Oh.
I mean, I couldn't see any high scoring bingos.
Oh.
What did I miss?
Grandma.
Ah, okay. Interesting.
So
So it was actually based on that. We were thinking maybe you didn't see a slope as
No,
a possibility.
no. Well, I knew a slope. I didn't see. I didn't see grandma, but I
wow.
figured. But I figured he. I think grandma still loses because I empty the bag.
No, there's 12 in the bag here.
Oh, sorry. No, beg your pardon. No, well that's
No,
that's a miss.
you definitely might still lose, but he didn't have the Z at that point. So.
No, I mean I just saw mash for 35 or something.
Which is a nice score, certainly.
I was running a bit low on time, and I just wanted to. Yeah. I mean, I thought I could sort of outplay him in the end game with the with those tiles, but yeah.
All right. Well, that answers those questions, certainly.
Well, and then we're wondering about also this one.
Yeah, look, I miss Pirates obviously,
Okay.
but like I was quite happy with Spider.
Scored nice, yeah.
Yeah.
And also it set up the air, which he may or may not know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Yeah, right.
So it's interesting. You were thinking about it the entire time, and we weren't sure if you knew.
And
so,
I didn't have any A's until right at the end.
Oh,
Wow.
that's right, you didn't. Oh, sad.
That's interesting. Wow, that changes the way we can think about the entire game then. Wow. All right.
I'm glad I could enlighten you.
No, that's good. It's just not always easy to figure out, some of the thought process. So thanks for sharing yours.
That's right.
certainly.
No, look, it was a frustrating game. Only picked up the goodies in the end, and it wasn't sort of quite enough.
And then Villi, that was a tough little spot as well for you.
Yeah, it's. I mean, what do I do? Do I change or just?
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a score as well, and I mean, I probably gave him a bingo spot, didn't I? By sticking the L out there, but.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, that was the only thing. I don't think ID8s went down anywhere before that.
Yeah.
It's just
There's
the way the ball
a bunch of bad
bounces.
options like ball, but you did great.
Good
Thanks,
game.
boys.
You should be proud.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Have fun in the next one.
Good luck. Thanks. How did Team Australia do otherwise?
I don't know. I suspect we lost that round.
Oh no!
Usually this is a 2.5 in that range will be interesting.
Oh, so spread is the tiebreaker for that then, no? All right, interesting. So we can tell you that we may have the first time that we see a 2.5 to 2.5 result for a matchup between teams in a round, and in that case, the tiebreaker is spread to award the point. Well, this is a rare example where spread actually is quite important.